Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massonomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massonomics.
Welcome back, everyone. Episode 479 of the Massonomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
And Tommy, I believe you know, but do you know why episode 479 is so special?
God. Okay, the way you say that makes me think I should actually know.
Yeah.
479. Is it your high school football number plus 400?
Bingo.
Oh. Good. I'm like, think it's in the 70s, but I've also said this so many times that I don't even remember anymore.
It is my old football number plus 400. The one we've all been waiting for.
One of everyone's favorite numbers.
Yeah. So we pulled out all the stops for episode 479. We're going to talk about our brand new drop this week. We changed the game with this one, of course. Title topic that we're going to get to in a little bit here is going to be the pros and cons of hiring a lifting coach versus a program / template / AI. Those things are all getting put in one bucket together. The other bucket is lifting coach, and we're going to talk pros and cons of each. We're going to make some bold statements at the end of it. We're going to expect you to have to no riding two horses with one ass. You got to pick an ass, pick a horse, and put them together. Mm-hmm. And then leave us a note in the comment section when we get there of what horse and which ass exactly you're putting things on. But first, before all of that, I want to tell you about our fine friends over at The Strength Co. You can check them out at thestrength.co. That's where you can buy their Made in America Olympic barbell plates. They're black, E-coated, smooth, yet easy to grip. They are the go-to plates of Massonomics Gym. Their shipping rates are about as affordable as any plate manufacturer that you're going to find. They are made in America, and when I say they're durable and made to last, I mean that. We use them every single day in Massonomics Gym, and they look pretty much as brand new as the day we got them, and that's with beating the hell out of them. Affordable. They're a value buy. Check them out at thestrength.co.
Guys have just been beaten on those things.
Just beating the piss out of them.
Beaten away.
I walk in there, and there's just people beating the piss out of them.
Guys just beating it in the corner.
The piss right out of
it. Strength Co plates, they'll make you want to beat it. Okay.
Yeah.
This episode is also brought to you by Barefoot Shoes. When you go to the Barefoot Shoes website, that's barefoot.store, you'll see you're confronted with two choices right off the bat, shoes or boots. And it's a big choice because Barefoot makes both of them, and it does both of them incredibly well. This time of year, I'm more of a shoe guy. You know, we got nicer weather, less elements to deal with. And if you're going with shoes, I highly recommend the Ursus low top with a canvas upper and a gum sole. Just classic, clean, and hard to beat. I wear it out on dog walks. I wear it in the gym. I wear it in public. I wear it everywhere. It's an awesome shoe. If you decide to go the boot route, they got you covered there too. They got the Bruin boot. They also have the Bruin Patriot boot. If you prefer something that is made in America, maybe you're kind of a Strength Co type person. You like your made in America goods? Well, the Bruin Patriot boot has got you covered there as well. These are just a few of the great products available on Barefoot Shoes. You can shop the full collection at barefoot.store and use code Massonomics, and you can save 10% on your next order. Thank you, Barefoot Shoes.
Okay. Oof, we got a doozy. First of all, Tommy, you drinking anything over there this week?
Oh, you know I am. We got
what do you got?
Watermelon, lime, Good and Gather.
Oh.
Real classic one here.
Yeah.
Didn't know we had any of these left.
Well, breaking news. I'm drinking mine out of something a little special here. Brand new product.
I have one of those somewhere here. I should really find that in time for tomorrow.
Brand new product into the Massonomics drink safety catalog, never before seen on the Massonomics podcast. Unless you listen to the pre-show, we actually showed it off in the pre-show along with a bunch of other wacky, wild stuff. Some crazy old stories where we got extra greasy. You can only check out the pre-show by becoming a supporting member. But anyone can buy the brand new Drink Spotter Chill. That's right. The Drink Spotter Chill. It's a leatherish koozie. And you say, well, that's pretty cool. A leather koozie that's custom logoed with the Drink Spotter Chill logo. That's not all. It's magnetic. Of course, it's a Drink Spotter. It affixes to any of your metal surfaces with its rare earth magnets.
Your podcast, microphone arm, your rack, anything else metal.
It surprisingly strong magnets on the Drink Spotter Chill. It's going to hold up whatever canned beverage you put inside of it, and works great in the gym. Great for grilling some meats. Great for just sitting around drinking a couple brewskis. Maybe you're in your garage. Maybe you're in a shop. Maybe it's just a summer grill out. Any of those applications perfect for the Drink Spotter Chill. Now our most affordable Drink Spotter option out there.
Also one of the cheapest items on our website.
Right, true. Definitely the most portable Drink Spotter that we've ever had. Not that the other ones were all that cumbersome. Yeah.
So now people can ask, are you excited to see me, or is that a Drink Spotter Chill in your pocket?
So these are going for sale tomorrow as of the day we record this. So when you hear this, they have been listed for sale. Hopefully we still have some left. We did buy a shitload of these. So it's really perfect time for this summer, though, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what you would want for whatever you got going on this summer, I think. The Drink Spotter Chill.
The ultimate summer companion.
And inside my Drink Spotter Chill, I've got something a little different. This is an Ollie Pop.
Yeah, what's going on over there?
Have you ever had one of these?
I've had one, and it was a long time ago, and there's something different about them. I can't remember.
This is actually like more of a soda in the sense that this has 40 calories.
Okay, yeah, that was the thing. There's some more.
It has 4 grams of sugar in it.
Boy, you might be up all night with that sugar.
I know. Combines the classic soda you know and love with prebiotics.
That's what I was thinking of. It's the prebiotics.
Plant fiber, and botanicals to support your microbiome and digestive health. Finally, a refreshing soda that's actually good for you.
Wow. Bottoms up.
And that fits in a brand new Drink Spotter Chill. So the flavor on this one is strawberry vanilla. Curious to see what that bad boy tastes like.
Sounds like it has potential.
That is shockingly sweet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That is way more powerful than any of our usual sparkling waters.
Huh?
Yeah. I thought I was really going to like it when I saw the flavor strawberry vanilla, and I like it less than what I thought I would.
Just too much,
I would say. Yeah, I don't know. It tastes like a piece of candy almost.
All right.
I'm like, I wasn't really wanting a piece of candy right now, you know.
But that's what you get.
It's okay though. I'll give it a 3.0. 3.0 on the strawberry vanilla Ollie Pop. It's definitely no LaCroix or Good and Gather or
but then again,
Waterloo.
What is?
That's right. We talked about one of the items from the new drop. Do we want to talk about the rest of them now, or what are we doing? Are we showing those things off?
Yeah, maybe we should just get out in front of it. Put them out there.
We got the Drink Spotter Chill, which you just saw. It's this leather-ish koozie with the gold. I don't know if that's embossed or what you call it, but it's on there, printed on there, the gold Drink Spotter Chill logo. So that's one of our prime Drink Spotter drink safety devices in this drop. But then we've also got 2 shirts. And these are two new shirts. One of them is kind of a revamp of an old shirt, and the other is completely new. So do you want to see the revamp first?
Yeah, bust that revamp out.
Okay. What do we call this?
I keep forgetting what items are in this drop.
I think I think we call this our meat tee.
Oh yeah,
but it's not
yeah.
like
God, I can't
it's
keep-
not the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic.
No, this is
event
just
tee.
the comp tee, you could say.
Yeah,
or-
this is the comp tee or the comp meat tee. The last one we had the Massonomics M right here, and then something on the left sleeve, something on the right sleeve. This time it's only available in black color. And we did print this. We did not print this on our Comfort Colors blank that we've been using on a lot of things. We used one of our old blanks, that's the more tapered fit because a lot of people wear this under a singlet. So we feel that this works better for that application.
A little slimmer.
So this
fit.
is more, a little
Streamlined.
slimmer fit. And black in color is what we went with. And this time we have the Massonomics that wraps around the neck. Is that what you would say?
Yep. Wraps just under the collar.
Yep. Right under the collar. It's got the white printed Massonomics text. And then on the old one, the sleeves, the logo or the text was like punched out. And on one side was Lift Hard, Live Easy.
Yep.
Or one side was Lift Hard. The other side was Lift Easy.
Yep.
This time, the right sleeve, it's kind of hard to show there, but is Lift Hard, Live Easy on the right sleeve. And the left sleeve is
The M
the
logo.
M. Well, it's not cooperating with me exactly.
Things
here,
fighting
but,
you. Yeah, it's got the M logo on the other
the
sleeve
M
there.
logo. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's actually
some
my
people-
first time seeing that because I'm waiting for mine to show up tomorrow. But yeah, I like how that looks.
Some people on the older comp tee, they thought the M was too far down the neck, and this one is not.
Yeah, this one is like a half an inch from the collar, so it's
Right.
right up there.
Your
Your
singlet
singlet's
would have to
covering
be
that.
Really,
You have
your
bigger
singlet's
issues.
really weird if it's covering this now. The blank, well, this is a Bella Canvas blank. For people that really know their blanks, this is a Bella Canvas blend tee. More of a tapered fit. Okay. Now, the one we've all been waiting for, right?
Yes.
Now, this shirt has been something that we've had in the works for quite a while. And
It's been on the
someone
to-do-
tried...
It's been on the to-do list for quite a while now. We just had so many drops, it kept getting pushed out,
Yeah.
and finally, it is here.
And someone else was trying to steal our idea, so then we figured we better get this released before they steal it. And here it is.
It
The
is
Home
official-
Gym Nerd.
the Home Gym
tee.
Nerd tee.
There it is in all its glory. Can you see it on the camera all right there,
Oh
Tommy?
yeah. Are you a home?
completely
You can
covering
raise it
me up,
another
so-
2 inches still. There
Like
you
that.
go.
Yeah.
Are you a home gym? Do you have a home gym? Are you a nerd about it? Are you proud about it? Well,
Yeah.
here we go.
How would you describe the design for those listening
This has
only?
it definitely some varsity vibes, but it has that old school collegiate seal look to it, where it's you kind of have this seal in the middle with the sort of the leafing and some other varsity collegiate themes to it. So real classic item.
Yeah, it's on a Comfort Colors blank, and the color is navy with white print.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like a heather navy. I'd say it's a kind of like a true navy.
Yeah.
And in Latin on it, what does it say?
Oh
there?
yeah.
It
What do we have
says,
in Latin again?
Gymnasi Domus Fanaticus. Above the guy, like almost in the toga, curling a dumbbell in the center of the logo.
And that was, I believe, the loose translation in Latin was home gym fanatic, right?
Yeah. It's in our interpretation of Home Gym Nerd that we liked the Latin translation of. We actually workshopped several different Latin translation variations, and that's what we came up there with Gymnasi Domus Fanaticus.
Yeah, just adding to that academic collegiate feel of the whole thing.
It also has the Roman numerals in it to add to that kind of too. And this shirt is really sweet.
Yeah.
I'm quite positive this is going to be a good seller.
Yeah, I think that I could see this one popular with just anyone that has a home gym. I think this could be a real point of pride for him.
Go ahead and listen to Huck Finn, whatever he puts out on a podcast following our release of this. And he'll be saying how we stole this idea from him. And the real story, he'll tell his story, which for those of you that know Huck Finn, he's always got a story. But the real story is it was inspired by him in part, this phrase home gym nerd that we kept hearing more. And he was he was using it to make fun of us and the Massonomics followers.
But the crazy part is since what actually was the breaking point for it was heard him say it several times, heard Coop say it multiple times in Garage Gym review videos.
Yeah.
I was explaining it. This was like one of the aha moments for me. I was explaining home gym ownership to some of my friends that don't live in the area. They were visiting. Was it like over Christmas time, I think? Or maybe it was even January for New Year's. It was something like that. And I was explaining all of it. And the one guy who was my buddy, his girlfriend goes, "Oh, so it's like a nerd kind of." I'm like,
Yeah.
well, actually, yeah, at a certain point, yeah, you do nerd out. So it's like a home gym nerd. I'm like, actually, I have heard that phrase before. Yes.
Yes. And it does describe it. And that's an endearing term in our eyes. You know, it's you want like a home gym nerd is a good term. People like Huck Finn might use it to try to make fun of us. Take that, flip it, turn around and reverse it because it's actually a positive to be a home gym nerd. And then after we already have a shirt, he said, "You know what? I'm going to make that into a shirt." And we said, I gave him a jingle on the jangle and said, "Finn, we already have that shirt."
I do. I mean, I won't forget. They had a podcast where they were talking about it, and they talk about a lot of ideas out loud. So I didn't know if maybe they'd forget about it. But anyways, the podcast got done, or they were saying like, yeah, we gotta. I think Jacob Ross goes, "You gotta put that on a shirt, Finn. You gotta do that." And I got done listening to the episode, and I called Tanner. I'm like, "Hey, you know that shirt? I don't know if you listened to Let's Get Stupid yet, but you know that shirt that we're like ordering?
We better do that faster."
Yeah, they just said they're gonna make that.
No. So I'm excited about that one. Pretty sweet shirt. And it's out in time. Anyone that's going to Home Gym Con, you would absolutely be, I'll say it, I'll be blunt about it. You would be a horse's asshole to not have this and wear it to Home Gym Con.
Yes.
If you're listening to this and going to Home Gym Con at the end of this month, what kind of rotten horse's asshole would you have to be?
Well, we'll give you a pass if you're just wearing a Massonomics shirt instead. We'll give you a pass on that one. That's your second
That's
option.
all right. You're not that much of a horse's asshole then in that case if you haven't. But
is there any bonus item with that shirt or not? I couldn't remember if we had.
My gosh. But wait, there's more.
Okay. I couldn't remember what we had discussed here.
Yeah. I'm glad you remembered. Okay, so and I didn't even say this. Well, this won't apply to anyone listening because it'll be too late. But the first 50 orders are actually getting the limited edition Silly Goose Barbell Club round premium sticker. So the first 50 orders of this drop are getting that. You'll be too late by the time you're listening to this. So don't worry about that. But everyone that orders a home gym tee gets a free special item with that home gym nerd tee. It is this is going to be hard to come across on camera depending on the refraction, but home gym nerd sticker, glitter sticker. Is that what you call those? A glitter sticker?
I think that one's the glitter sticker.
Yeah.
It's very
home
sparkly.
gym nerd sparkly glitter stickers. Everyone that orders a home gym nerd tee, you'll get one of those. And it is a premium sticker on those as well. So everyone that orders the home gym nerd shirt also gets the home gym nerd sticker.
Just keeps getting better.
Everyone that I see at Home Gym Con that's either a supporting member or wearing a Massonomics piece of apparel, you'll also get a Home Gym Nerd sticker. I'll keep them things on me at Home Gym Con. If you come up and you say, "I'm a supporting member," or you show me the piece of Massonomics merch that you're wearing, Home Gym Nerd sticker right in your hand.
Tanner's going to be walking around with just a brick of stickers.
Not for long. I'm glad you mentioned the sticker. I kind of
that is. Brandon in the Discord has an important question. Will there be a charge if anyone sticks them in the bathroom at Home Gym Con?
We're gonna have to ask Jake about that. We're going to have to ask Jake and see what our
policy is.
My God, if we go to another convention and they make us not use all our stickers again. I'm
gonna get my Congress member on the phone and
I'll be like, I quit.
take this to the top.
And for those checking along at home, we are still giving out Arnold bathroom stickers free with every order, but not for long. The file of these is pretty small. There's a little more than this, but not that much more than this.
Okay.
And I guess we've never talked about it on the podcast, right? But there is a Massonomics sticker machine that's got a bunch of these and several other stickers in it as well.
Yes. Have we talked about that on the podcast? I can't remember.
I don't know. I know I posted it on Instagram, of course, and I don't know if Anthony says we have not. There is a Massonomics coin-operated sticker vending machine now. My wife found a sticker vending machine on Facebook or maybe it was just thrifting. It was thrifting. And she's like, this is $25. Should I get it? And before I responded later because I was doing something at work. And I'm like, yeah, you might as well. Even if it doesn't work, it's $25. And she goes, good, because I already got it and I'm on the way home with it. And I did have to teach myself to become a vending machine repairman because it did not work.
Was broken.
I just needed to take some things apart and hook some springs up that had become like unhooked. A little maintenance, I guess, is what I would call it. It did take a little. I had to do a little research on what I was doing, and once I figured it out, it was quite simple.
Okay,
I guess, but yeah, it's fully operational. It's in my garage for the time being. It's going to go to the gym eventually, and I think it'll just come along to the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic. That'll be right there. That you can get yourself some stickers.
Man, all the money pumping into that thing. You better hope no one picks up the machine and steals it after the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic.
It's fairly heavy.
It probably will be really heavy with all those quarters sitting in there.
With all the quarters in it, I do think because you pay 50 cents and you get a sticker, and there's also this cardboard. Have you ever used a sticker machine like at Pizza Hut before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's, that cardboard sleeve that the sticker comes in.
Uh-huh.
Between the sticker and the cardboard sleeve, it may almost cost more than 50 cents per
Okay, I was going to ask you, though, what
transaction.
about how did you get those cardboard sleeves?
Ordered them off Amazon.
Oh, like that actually was a thing you could get?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I didn't know if you had to go through some secret vending machine
No.
channel.
Amazon struck again, and they weren't that expensive, but by the time you had the sticker and that, and I did teach myself how you can change. I could charge anywhere from 25 cents to $1.25 per transaction.
All right.
And you could actually do it. There's 4 slots, and you could do them all differently if you wanted to. I have just left them all at 50
you could
cents.
have that premium slot if you want.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Well, we got options.
Yeah. So stay tuned. For those of you coming to Western Northeast South Dakota, you'll probably get a chance to use the sticker machine.
And it just keeps getting better. Next year, we're going to have one of those machines you put a penny into and it flattens it out and puts like a Massonomics,
one of our faces on it. The thing about the sticker machine, the front of it, it's just like real sticker machines at Pizza Hut or wherever else. It advertises a whole bunch of really cool stickers, and every one you get is actually an Arnold bathroom sticker.
No one gets the cool one.
Yeah, it's like, I always get the Arnold bathroom sticker.
One again. I spent like $20 on bathroom stickers.
And I already have 20 of them at home. All right, that's our drop, and we're sticking to it. I asked what you're drinking over there. I also want to know, what are you smoking over there? Because the smoke has been in the air.
Some of that Great White North.
Yeah. Have you noticed any smoke down
it was
there
pretty
over
bad
last week?
on, what day was that?
Like 2 days ago.
Yeah, like Sunday, Monday, somewhere in there. It was pretty bad. And then it seemed like it cleared out in a hurry. So I haven't noticed it as much lately. But yeah, that for the one day you could really notice it.
Yeah, ours is pretty much was gone today. I couldn't notice anymore. But like 2 days ago, I could have sworn that if you would have told me there's a building on fire, the biggest building in town is up. Yeah, like there was one day there where, I talked to parents that were like, yeah, we're leaving our kids. It's bothering our kids. Like we can't have them outside. Actually, that was Sunday. I went to a bike-a-thon thing and there was people that said like, yeah, it was horrifically bad.
Yeah, well, my phone was giving, if you go to the weather app, it was giving you notifications that, normally I don't even know what the gauge is, but the weather, the air quality is like 10 or something around here. And it just is always at that. and it was in the red. It was like 120 or 140 something. I've never seen my phone do that. I don't usually pay attention to that number, but yeah, it was very high that day.
And Aberdeen's a couple hours north of Sioux Falls, so ours would in theory be worse. But I'm like, how far south do you have to go before you don't notice it? Then at that point, because if you could notice it there, so then what about in like Nebraska and Iowa? Are they experiencing it then also?
I'm sure they got a little bit of it. Yeah, I can't imagine that they were off.
For a couple days, I mean, if someone said there's an enormous grass fire just on the north side of town, that runs 20 miles long, I'd be like, of course there is. Look at it outside.
Yeah, no, that is surprising because here it was more of just a fog in the air. You could maybe smell a little something, but it just felt like, why is there a haze in the air if you didn't know any better?
Yeah, I'd even say you'd come in from outside and be like, "Yep, my clothes almost smell like I was at a bonfire." Like I was not sitting super close to the bonfire,
burning garbage again.
Yeah, and until like a couple years ago, like, do you ever remember that happening?
I never remember that being a thing when I was growing up ever. The first one that really annoyed me was I remember when I had my boat, there was one summer it was really bad where it just seemed like it was overcast for like a couple weeks. And maybe it was only a week, maybe it was 2 weeks, but I just remember being like out on the boat and be like, oh, you can't get any sun because there's just this constant overcast from the Canadian smoke fire all the time.
So was there never fires in Canada until the last handful of years?
I think based off of the little bit that I read, I think that they're just getting worse every year now is what it sounds like. With everything going on and all.
They can keep that up there.
Yeah.
We're gonna start charging tariffs on that smoke if they keep sending it down here.
Don't want the smoke.
Yeah. Tariffs, am I right?
Yeah.
Let's see. We're going to get into supporting our supporting members and a certified training facility of the week. Is there anything else we want to cover before that?
Boy. Okay, let's just, because this will sort of lead into the next segment. Have you seen what Rogue's been up to, Tanner?
I did. I actually
I'll
thought
say this.
I popped that in and I'm like, did I put that in? Because I meant to put that in, and I'm like, oh nope, Tommy put that in, so he's tracking also.
Home gym community's been real quiet about this one. No one's really wanting to speak out on this. Clever Rogue rep. A lot of comments on that. Rogue equipped gyms. Not so many comments. Not so many people stepping up to the plate on this one.
Yeah.
Looks eerily similar to something else.
So it's the Rogue equipped gyms, and the comparison would be to our certified training facility that has become quite a popular program over the last several months. We now almost have 300 certified training facilities on our map. It's a pretty cool map. We do the certified training facility of the week each week. Everyone gets a flag, a certificate, and some special stickers that go along with it. And now, within a few months later, Rogue came out with this. Do you think, would ask you, Tommy, do you think that our certified training facility thing could have been on anyone's radar there and been any, do you think it actually could have been?
It's hard to say because they're a huge company, and huge companies are notoriously slow to get shit done.
Yes.
But also we're talking about the digital side. We literally were able to crank this out in no time.
Right.
So obviously they have the team and the resources to do it just as fast. I don't know. It could definitely be a coincidence. I'm going to be honest here. We're not the first people in the world to have a gym directory of any kind, as much as fun as it is. But there are
we are the most recent ones to have a popular one, though.
I would think so. Yes. That's it. It's it gets thousands and thousands of views a month on our website. It's a popular page. There's a lot of people coming across it. A lot. There's hundreds of gyms in the program, the Massonomics one. And I will also say this is that it is eerily similar to ours in a few ways.
So do you know what any of the details of theirs?
Well, I'm trying to find the freaking page for it, and I can't. Their website's so annoying. Even when you Google it, it doesn't pop up. Here, let me because they sent out an email promoting it. Here we go.
Yeah, I remember that.
Introducing. Okay, so you go to. It's Rogue Fitness / Rogue-equipped -gyms. Go to that, and what's really funny? So it has a map just like ours, because of course there's a map. And what's really interesting is they have more. I'm assuming there's more parameters. You have to probably have a certain amount of Rogue stuff, maybe. And you don't pay like ours. You have to pay to be in. But what I like is there's view gym details, and it does have the zip code. It does have photos. It has a gym description. But the zip code is just the same thing to pin it to a certain area, but not get too close. So
what is the requirement to be a Rogue fitness equipped gym?
I don't know, because there's the add your gym button, and then it asks for your gym name and your email, and I didn't want to give it a bunch of my info, so I didn't do that. So I'm not for sure what the actual hook is if they just submit it, but I don't know. It's Rogue. At the end of the day, it's always going to be less personal than Massonomics, right?
That's true.
I mean, that's just a fact. It's not.
If I'm being honest, what I think it's probably is highly possible they have no idea about our thing at all.
But I mean, when you say
said,
they, are you talking about Bill, or are you talking about one of the 100 people on their marketing team?
that's the thing too, because we know a bunch of people that work for Rogue that have been like, oh yeah, I'm a fan of your guys' stuff. That comes up a lot. Also, I've got email correspondence with Bill, and he's been like, oh, I love your, I'm a fan of what you guys do, this and that. So we're not on Bill's radar to begin with. So it's not impossible, but
yeah, I'll say this. Ours is way cooler, though. Ours has got...
Ours has a...
I like some of these, like you click on it. You click on it, like view gym details, and some of them have pictures, and then other ones just have like Rogue equipment, and it lists like they have Rogue competition collars. They have a Concept 2 bike erg. They have a ski erg. It's like, why are these like 4 products called out?
Right. Yeah, I guess the differentiator is theirs is, do you have Rogue, maybe their qualifier is, do you have Rogue equipment in your gym? Which is whatever. Ours is more like, are you like a cool person that likes to be fun and maybe, possibly
and maybe have your gym featured in a video someday? Right. It's a good place to start.
So I like our qualifiers better.
Yeah. Well, ours is a very exclusive club too. We don't let just anyone into that thing.
Screw that Rogue equipped gym map. Screw it in the butt. Supporting our supporting members is the next segment. It's a relatively new segment to the podcast. You probably heard it before, but it's relatively new, at least. Supporting our supporting members is where we give back to those that give to us. You can become a supporting member by going to massonomics.com/join. It is the number one way you can support us at this point. We've had quite a few new people showing up lately, so that would be my first shout out is welcome all the new supporting members. For any of you that don't know some of the stuff you get in on by becoming a supporting member, it's the only way you get in our Massonomics Discord. Got to be a supporting member to get on our Discord. It's a very active community. It's the only way you can listen along to the podcast live. It's the only way you can listen to the pre-show. That's the show before the show. It's uncut, unrecorded, unfiltered, and we've been doing it every week now for a few months, the pre-show. It's the only way you can listen to the pre-show is by becoming a supporting member. There's a discount code that's for supporting members only. You get access and info on new drops, and possibly one of the coolest things, a couple times a year or whenever we plan it out, we send out these crew supporting member mailers. Or it's a physical mailing that goes out to everyone that's a supporting member at that point in time that has an active supporting membership. And every time it's a different new surprise gift. We've done some what I think are pretty fun ones over the years, but I think this summer we've got possibly our coolest one ever coming. So now is the time. If you've been on the fence about becoming a supporting member, get in on it now so you don't miss this next gift, because it is really freaking cool, and it's going to be something that people are talking about for quite a while.
For years to come.
Yeah, and kind of sharing stories about what they received and that sort of thing. So now is when you should become a supporting member so you don't miss out on this one. It'd be a real shame to become a supporting member shortly after this. Like, I know it's going to happen. There's going to be people that join just right after.
The line in the sand joke isn't just a joke. It is a real thing. And there's a lot of people that just hit the other side of it.
Yeah. So do join up now. And last but not least, you can be on supporting our supporting members, like Big Frog competed in M2 class, Masters 2 at Powerlifting America Age Division Nationals. And he got first place best overall lifter, so he will be lifting at Power Lifting America Worlds now. So a Worlds competitor on the biggest stage in powerlifting for Big Frog in M2 class.
Wow, good stuff.
Yeah. Big Schmitty totaled 1,411 pounds at his meet, which was a 78-pound PR for him. Huge PR.
Yeah.
Big Caleb got third place in the men's open lightweight division at Tennessee's Strongest. And the new Big Gabe, certainly not to be confused with the old Big Gabe. Please don't confuse them. The new Big Gabe got second place at Tennessee's Strongest Novice 105 kg class. Big Chris D had a sandwich named after him at a local sandwich shop. And Big Jake, one nutter, was this week's guest on Unpaid and Underrated.
Wow, a lot of good stuff.
Yes. Now, how are you feeling, Tommy, about a certified training facility of the week?
Oh, yeah.
We'll pull up our certified training facility map. You can find it at massonomics.com/certified.
Way easier URL to type in and find than
Yes,
than
than
that other
that
company.
freaking Rogue thing. My God. Next rep's going to have one of these, aren't they?
It's only a matter of time.
All right. Should we just fire at will? Do you want to pick one or should I pick one?
You just pick one. Or give me
All
some
right, I'm just going to
parameters or
pick.
something.
I'm not even going to think about what state. I'm just going to click in an area and see if I can find something. Okay, I'm going. I just got to find a good picture. All right, Spanky's Wad Barn. Have
Whoa.
we ever done Spanky's Wad Barn?
Sounds very exotic. Where's
in
this at?
Cottontown, Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Spanky's, and do you know who Spanky is?
Oh yeah,
is?
Spanky. Yeah,
Yeah,
Here it
yeah.
is.
'Cause I thought maybe it wasn't clicking with you.
It wasn't
at first.
clicking. Yeah, now it's clicking.
Spanky's Wad Barn in, where did I say? What's
Tennessee.
the town? Cottontown, Tennessee.
Cottontown, Tennessee.
So
Okay.
Spanky, if anyone's ever been to the Arnold or Home Gym Con, or probably a lot of, more regionally local to the Tennessee area, been at any big lifting events there, and you've purchased anything from what company, Tommy?
Barbell Voodoo.
Barbell Voodoo. Spanky doesn't own Barbell Voodoo, but he works closely, and he's at like every one of these helping run the
don't know,
booth.
does
and
he?
setting it. Or maybe he is an owner. Actually, am I wrong? Maybe he is an owner, actually.
I thought he was part owner.
You're probably right. I guess I
Yeah.
was thinking that you're probably right.
Yeah, I think he's 50-50 is the way I
Okay.
took it. I thought he was half owner.
Either way, he's at everything for
Yes.
sure. So if you've ever gone to Barbell Voodoo, ask for Spanky. Spanky is a certified training facility. And Spanky's facility here, Tommy, what do you see?
So this is some type of shop outbuilding he has here.
Well, it's a barn.
Barn. Oh yeah, it's just in the name. It's right there. Yeah. So right away, the building is nice. He's got a ton of room. Right, like no
Yeah, it's
shortage of room here.
Really high ceiling.
Yeah, really high ceiling, and it looks pretty new. It looks like new construction, doesn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't look old.
So yeah, first of all, lots of room. He's got an overhead door you can drive in and a door on the side, so that makes things easy. And I like seeing there's a range of equipment here, from some kind of old school commercial looking stuff to your more standard racks. But I guess right away we got a rack in the back corner. It's kind of a rig mounted to the wall. Can't tell for sure what brand it is, but he's got that. He's got a Duffalo bar of some kind, or in the rack there. Of course, we got the certified training facility flag hanging up, and I don't know. There's a lot back there. You can't see all of it from the
He's
photo.
got like a rig with gymnastics rings and stuff back there too.
Yep. And I don't know. There might be like an adjustable bench in that corner way back there.
Yeah, this is a very, very large certified training facility.
Yeah, this might be one of the biggest ones actually so far. Up front, where you can see easier, he does have some kind of hamstring leg curl machine there.
Yeah,
right
a
up
lying
front.
leg curl machine. Looks like a plate-loaded commercial quality leg curl machine.
Yep. And then is that a glute ham ray or like a GHR machine of some kind
GHR.
behind there? And then it looks like a leg press behind that.
Might be a leg press hack squat combo.
Yeah,
Looks like it might
could
have
be.
handles up on the top. Yeah.
Could be. He's got a weight tree with some different weights, some bumper plates. On the wall, he's got a lot of barbells there. It looks like he's got those like 9-bar holders, and he's got 3 of them. They look pretty maxed out too. So he's got a
Looks
lot
like
of barbells.
there's several strongman logs over there. Also, maybe some farmer's carries handles. He's got some dumbbells, I think, and maybe that's a circus dumbbell, that pink one or something
looks
like that.
Yeah.
He's got some horse stall mats on the right side. He's got a propane heater in the back of it. You see that? Then there's a propane tank towards the foreground, right?
Yep.
Foreground.
Yes, in the foreground. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. And I kind of think he's got a runway here, that this would be a
that's what it looks
strongman
like.
runway, is what I would say. Yeah. You know what I'm really wondering as I look at this, as I continue to look at it, as we talk it out, Tommy, do you think you could get strong there?
I think you could get very strong here.
Oh, shit, yeah, you could get strong there.
Say the sky's the limit in Spanky's, what do we got here? In Spanky's Wad Barn, I'd say the sky is the limit.
Yeah. Good. That's a cool, unique certified training facility. So if you're not a certified training facility yet, I would ask you,
Now what the hell are you waiting for?
what the hell are you waiting for? Don't become a rogue, whatever. Become a Massonomics certified training facility.
We won't judge you by your equipment type. You can have any equipment type.
Yes, you could have Spanky's Wad Barn equipment. You could be the bar, South Dakota, Ito's Gym in California, Beer Belly Brigade, the meeting room. The list goes on. And you could become a certified training facility of the week.
You know, I was just thinking here. I'm not sure because I haven't gone through the steps of the Rogue One, but presumably, if the Rogue One is not charging you to be a member, you could still make the argument that indirectly, though, they're charging you quite a bit, because if you have to have Rogue equipment in your gym to be a member at the Rogue One, it's that's no cheap entry fee.
That is true. So maybe the charge is more baked into the cake with them, isn't it?
I think so.
This week's episode is brought to you by BuildFast Formula. Check them out at buildfastformula.com. Just this morning, I helped myself to some 80/20 protein powder. I had their vanilla flavor this morning. Vanilla ice cream, it's called. A delicious, tasty flavor. Not my favorite of theirs. It's one of my favorites, but not my absolute favorite of theirs. That is reserved for the chocolate lava cake.
Hard to beat.
Cannot beat their chocolate lava cake 80/20 protein blend. It is nature's blend of protein, 80% casein, 20% whey, or maybe the other way around. What is it? I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I just like their protein.
Some 20, the 80/20 rule. Everyone knows it.
Yeah. Yes. So check out their protein powder as well as their pre-workout non-caffeinated Vaso Blitz, the fully loaded full blitz, and they also have creatine monohydrate powder that you can purchase there at buildfastformula.com. Use discount code Massonomics. Save 10% on every single order from them. You order over $100 or more, you get free shipping. You sign up for a subscription model on any of their products to save an additional 10% savings on savings at buildfastformula.com.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
I don't want to.
Do I need to get these looky-loos out of here?
That's what I was just going to say. I almost prematurely. What you could tell them what the. No, they're gone.
It's too late.
They're just going to have to listen. They're just going to have to listen to this recorded like all the normal people.
They need to get to bed anyways. They got to be productive members of society tomorrow.
Yeah. Not us.
Doing whatever they do.
Whatever they all do around the globe. We had some international listeners tonight. They said it was 3 a.m. his time listening along live tonight.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Did you give them all the acts?
They are. Oh, Keith is the last one. Okay, come on. Get him out of here.
Get out of here, Keith.
Okay, now they're gone.
Finally.
All right.
All right. Title topic time. Should I hit him with it?
Let's do it. Oh, yeah.
What's the title topic?
Title topic this week is Oh, man. You caught me off guard with this one. I just was so not ready. Title topic is pros and cons of a lifting coach versus a program.
Yeah, and we said lifting coach is obvious what a lifting coach is. You're actually paying for a real human being, probably typically online more than in person, but in person could apply. But most of the people that are doing this, I feel like it's online more so. We're talking more loosely, I would say, about powerlifting or strongman.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could apply this to really any type of lifting, but we're
apply it to anything in life almost.
right. But we're really honed in more so on like powerlifting or strongman strength training in general, more generally speaking, versus a program, we say. And a program could be a program you're paying for. It could be more of just a template that's either free or being paid for, or even AI.
Or an
we're
app.
users of AI and an app. We're big users of Juggernaut AI, as most people know. That would fall into what we're just calling a program or an app or a template. We're going to categorize those things together for the sake of today's comparison. So how do we do it? Do we do like all the pick? Because we're going to essentially have 4 sections. We're going to do hiring an actual lifting coach and do pros and cons of that, and then we're going to do paying for a program, spreadsheet, app, and do pros and cons of that. Do we run down?
I think maybe we should just talk through the whole scenario of hiring a lifting coach.
Okay.
And then we'll just talk through the whole scenario of the program, spreadsheet, app, and then if we need to bounce back, we can. But
okay.
we'll try to look at this as objectively as we possibly can.
Yeah, I guess a disclaimer of that is, unless I'm wrong, Tommy, you've never hired a coach for training,
I have
right?
not. No.
And neither have I, and I probably never will.
Yeah, at this point, it's hard to say that I would now. My life would have to take a pretty drastic turn.
Yeah. But I think we did try to look at it not through that lens. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket science to understand the pros and cons of. You don't like having not done it. I feel like we're not dealing in rocket science.
That being said,
here.
we did the thinking for you, so you don't have to. Here.
Yeah.
We're really making it easy for you.
And just as I scan the list, our longest list, the most bullet points, is under pros of hiring a lifting coach.
Well,
but we'll find out what.
So is it just quantity or is it quality?
Well,
Stay tuned.
We'll find out. Yeah.
Okay, should we get this started right off the bat here? Pros of a lifting coach. I'm gonna say the first one here. I think this might be the biggest one on the entire list, and that is that human feedback / communication / support and encouragement. There's just something about it that you don't get that same feedback loop from a template, a program, a sheet, an app, whatever else is giving you your numbers or telling you what to do. When you don't have that actual human communication part, for some people that's a game changer. That's a deal breaker not having that. So I 100% get people that want that extra level of touch that only a coach can offer. And that's what you get in that communication side.
Yeah, so you get the feedback, the support, the encouragement. And specifically on the encouragement, it's one of the last things I have there on the support. It's like maybe a mental aspect of training, especially for those that aren't as good as finding that within themselves.
Well, I mean, there's
support.
There's a lot of levels to that because, whether it's just the mental support for when training gets tough, or, when you have some challenges in your training that you weren't anticipating, or some people, they really get beat up or they get hard on themselves towards the end of a prep when the weights just get really heavy and you start feeling like crap. Sometimes having that coach there saying, trust the process. This is intentional. This is what's supposed to happen. For some people, like, that is the thing to say, oh, okay, I can trust someone. I know that the plan is going the way it is, rather than just being stuck in your own head the whole time.
Right. And especially maybe if you're someone that trains from home without other people around much, because I might not have a coach, but I have the luxury of going to Massonomics gym, or I talk to you multiple times a week and we talk about training, and it's like, oh man, this really seems weird. What do you guys think?
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of get that even without a coach, but a lot of people might not have that network. So if you do have a coach, you just bought yourself that network, basically, or at least that individual that can do that and be there for you doing that job.
Yeah, and so that's actually, I'm just looking at the rest of the things in the list, and a lot of them that we wrote down kind of fall right back into that. Like another one here is accountability. Again, it's the fact that there's another human keeping you accountable and keeping you on track. So whether you're the type of person that maybe likes to take some workouts off, or maybe you like to go off program, whether that's going too heavy or too light on certain days. A lot of times when someone knows there's another person that they can't let down, or a person that they're paying money to, it does keep the accountability level a little higher too.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I think maybe this is a little bit different than some of the other ones we've discussed then, is specific form feedback, where we'll talk about some of the other options that you can go for coaching that you don't actually get the form feedback. Mm-hmm. And that the value of form feedback, I think could be value in it for any lifter. Mm-hmm. I think especially someone that's a new lifter, there could be additional value there if if you haven't honed your craft of what a squat, bench, and deadlift is supposed to feel and look like,
especially to a competition standard.
Right. That's where that form feedback could be particularly valuable from a coach. There again, if you have training partners, I think that they kind of take on that role also, and maybe make the coaching, specific paid coach form feedback less valuable because you can get it elsewhere. But a lot of people don't have that luxury still, I would say. So the form feedback could be pretty valuable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even for a more advanced lifter, you could still have times when the form feedback is helpful.
Yeah, you definitely could. Yeah. But I think this does fall under one of the things of, as you become more advanced or more experienced, like hopefully like your form isn't something you're having to retweak and relook at like constant. Like, I'm not saying you don't look at your form, but like hopefully you're not making huge changes to your technique every year.
There's people that do that, and if you've been around gyms with people that lift consistently for a long time, you've definitely run into people that they're always starting over. It's like they've gotten this continuous loop where they never make it like past the halfway mark of a training called a cycle, or like a training path, because they always get there and like, oh, my form's bad. It's getting heavier now. Right. My form's bad. I need to reinvent my form. So I'll go down in weight, down in intensity.
Program now.
Change my and go back through it because
moving the way I want it to. It's like, at a certain point, you just got to horse cock that weight around and just.
Yes, that would be my point. Like a certain bit of it matters. You need to be, safe and hopefully do something that's going to be sustainable. But sometimes it's just hard.
Yeah.
It is a matter of lifting.
Yeah. And I mean, we've talked to some very accomplished, distinguished coaches over the years, and they're like, ones that have ran seminars, and they're like, you do these seminars, and a lot of people think they're going to come to the seminar and like, you're going to give them some tip on their form and just everything's going to change. And they're like, that like never happens. Like it might happen like once in however, I mean, just an incredibly rare thing. Like for the most part, it's like, no, you just need to train smarter and train harder. Like that's what's holding you back.
Right. Cause that form thing there again, for complete novices, I get it. They need to give some direction on where the form is, but people that have been lifting for a while and basically understand how to squat, most of the time you're not going to rock their world with something that's just like, wow, you just put 60 pounds on
you've settled
my squat,
into a position that works good for your body. Like, you've kind of got that figured out. Again, there will be exceptions to this, but that's not, at least in our experience. Maybe we're just surrounded by technical gurus, but in our experience, most people tend to get their form figured out after enough time, and it might not look ideal to me or you, but it seems to be working pretty well for them.
Yep.
Yeah. What do we got next on the list here? These two kind of.
Yeah, I think those next two are kind of
these next two are kind of the same thing. But another pro of a lifting coach would be that they can be more flexible in making adjustments and tailoring things to you, the individual lifter. So, if you got just a spreadsheet, that spreadsheet is fairly rigid and doesn't provide you a lot of options. Now with apps do have more options for questionnaires and different paths that your training can take you down. But if you are talking about just a spreadsheet and week 6 says do this and things aren't feeling right, or things are feeling really good. Like maybe week 6, the initial plan isn't the ideal plan or the optimal plan. And that's something that you can be talking to a coach about, if you're having weekly check-ins, that you can be, addressing your week or your training on a weekly basis and be adjusting for either really good training cycles, bad training cycles, working on a particular injury, scheduling, things like that. And if you do have a good feedback loop with your coach, that is something that a coach would provide to you.
Yeah, this last one, additional education, I don't even really know.
I would say if you have, a good coach is more than just, hey, here's your spreadsheet, go.
Right. That's not a good coach.
Right. That's not a good coach. That's just a spreadsheet.
That's not who we're even talking about here as far as hiring a coach. The caveat is hiring a good coach, actually. Well, actually, we'll get to some of that here later, but that's an assumption with all these pros is you hired a good coach.
Yeah. So a good coach isn't just, hey, here's your spreadsheet for the week, go. And when we talk next week, it'll be when I give you another spreadsheet. Like there should be, at least in my opinion, more to it than that. And, that involves the coach checking in with you, seeing how things are going, what's going good, what's going bad. If they are having mental issues preparing for a meet, maybe they have some resources, some articles, some videos, or even just communication that they can, talk with you, whether that's on a Zoom call or however they're doing it. They can provide you some additional resources to help you with whatever you might be going through. That could be an injury thing. That could, like I was saying, be a mental thing. That could be a recovery thing. Like if you are a good coach and you've worked around enough people, you've probably seen most scenarios that are out there. And so when the unexperienced lifter or someone's experiencing that new thing for the first time, you could ideally provide some wise guidance in their situation.
One last thing, I guess I would say that it does kind of tie into some of the ones we said, but as an additional pro, as I think about it for hiring a coach, is you actually do have just human eyeballs on you. Some things are more difficult to be represented in terms of speed or RPE. Like that, there are situations where maybe that doesn't tell the full story. Mm-hmm. Maybe you need the human eyeball that can account for speed, form, RPE, just
and also
the
know
look
how
on
to,
your face,
and also know how like those, if you are doing a bar tracker, some people are way better at grinding out reps than other people, and just one small example of a way a coach could, their eyeballs.
So I'll say the human element could be a pro.
Yeah.
For a well-trained eye.
I mean, it should be. If you're hiring a lifting coach, the human element should be a pro. Like it shouldn't be a detriment. The coach should not be a detriment to you.
Right. But now talking about detriments,
for some people, this sunshine and rainbows. Let's get real here now.
Let's get down in the nitty-gritty dirt. Get down in the dirty grease part of hiring a coach. I would say for some people, this maybe isn't even a con. It all depends on your life situation, what you're at. But for a lot of people, if they're comparing it, this is one of the biggest cons of it, I think, is the cost. It's going to be the most expensive option over the options that we're covering here.
It should be. Right? Like if your coach is cheaper than, most spreadsheets and apps are anywhere between a few dollars and $30 a month. Like if your coach is less than that,
what are they doing?
I would question what value they're actually providing, unless they're just starting and, they're trying to build up a client base. But like, if your coach is like $20 a month, it might be questionable how much value they're providing.
Maybe you got a good in with the coach and they're just doing it pro boner.
That's right. Yes.
Is that the saying? Pro boner.
I believe pro boner is.
They're just doing it pro boner. They're not charging you. They're doing it pro boner.
When you have a good buddy, they do it pro boner.
They don't charge you anything. Hey, this one's on the house. I'm just going to do it pro boner.
Yeah, that's just some people are lucky that way. Other cons, you can be limited to your coach's style. So this does come down again to picking a good coach and the correct coach for what you need. But I think when you're hiring a coach, you should understand, what is their programming style? Like, are you hiring a coach that is an expert in the West Side method? Are you hiring a coach that likes to use an RPE scale? Are you hiring a coach that likes starting strength? Like if you're looking for someone with West Side and you hire a starting strength coach, I would say you've done a very bad job here. Like you need to know what you're looking for and what you're trying to get out of a coach. And part of that does come down to understanding their coaching style and methodology.
Yes.
And ideally, you'd pick one that also aligns with your goals.
Yes. This a couple of these cons circle back to like, did you actually get a good coach or not? Because some of these things will be like, because if you got a shitty one, this is where some of the cons might line up. Where if you got a really good coach, these aren't actually going to be cons. These are just potential cons. That and it's real. Like this absolutely happens very, very often. Like anyone that knows that these are real things that happen, but not if you have a coach that's doing a good job. But here it is. Are they just providing a spreadsheet anyways? At that point, are you you're just getting the template vendor, but you're paying for the coaching of it. You know, you're paying for a human coach that's basically all they're doing is giving you a spreadsheet anyways. Then you're getting the same exact thing as what we'll talk about next. You're just paying the high price for it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, you want to watch out for that one. Other things with a coach is, or I guess a con, it kind of goes to what I was just saying is you sort of do need to vet your coach a little bit and understand what you're getting into. It's kind of in a way almost like you're doing a job interview. Like you should understand or have some knowledge of maybe your coach's training history. Like how long have they been training? How long have they been training people? How many clients do they take on? Right. Am I getting a monthly check-in for 10 minutes? Am I getting a weekly check-in for 30 minutes? Like what does that actually look like? And just having that conversation up front, you just need to know because the expectations can vary wildly depending on the coach and what you're paying.
Talked about a pro being, the additional education. A flip side of the coin as a possible con, this somewhat comes down more to the lifter's attitude towards it, I think. But if you just literally take everything they say and only do that and never think about anything and aren't analyzing your own training at all in any way, do you ever really learn anything for yourself? Like to be able to, because I would think if someone, if you're coached for years and years by a person, at a certain point, you should be able to do 90% of that coaching to yourself after a while. Maybe they still have some stuff that you can't pick out on your own, but you should be learning as you're going. But it would be easy to not if you didn't care, like you could just not learn anything around the process because you got someone there doing it for you. You don't really need to figure it out for yourself or figure much of anything out for yourself. You just do what you're told all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll kind of get to this. I mean, you could at certain times make this argument with, apps, programs, spreadsheets too, to a certain extent. But, if you do have a coach that is very, very hands-on, you might lack some of those critical self-reflecting skills that maybe you have more of when you're doing things yourself. So definitely something to be aware of there. I think this is maybe our final one on the list here. I'll say, final con is that a bad one could be really bad. So again, just know what you're getting into. Like if your coach, if they are sending you spreadsheets and your spreadsheets aren't coming in on time, your feedback's not on time, you might have a relationship with this person. You might not, but it's at the end of the day, it's your training. Like you're not there to fund their lifestyle. Like make sure that this coach isn't a detriment to your own training.
Yeah. I think that comes down to like, as far as a coach, to summarize a coach, if you're going to make the commitment to pay for a coach, get a good one. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing it and you're like, I might not have gotten a good one, I would reevaluate, like don't drag that out longer. I would reevevaluate that.
Yeah. I mean, and ultimately like this is a business, like they are a business, they're providing a service. And, if you're not satisfied with it, like doesn't mean you have to hate the person forever. You can just not want to exchange your money for their services any longer.
Right. Okay. Now do we move on to the program /spreadsheet/app? side of the equation.
And because we did talk about the coach, maybe depending on some of these, we might compare and contrast them with the lifting coach part a little bit more. So we might bounce back and forth, but let's do it.
Yeah. So a pro, conversely to the coach, a pro on the program app spreadsheet side of it could likely be the cost. There may be a cost depending on what exactly you fall into there. There's probably some sort of cost, maybe not. Maybe it's
there's
free.
A lot of programs out there that you can get for free. Like a lot of them have, and they're good programs.
531, read the book. You know how to do it.
Yeah,
starting strength, read the book. You can do the program.
There's lots of coaches that have 12. Well-accomplished coaches that have 12-week programs, 18-week programs for free out there. That give you a taste of their style and are decent programs.
Yes. So the cost, at least relatively speaking, it could be free, and even if there is a cost, it's probably pretty minimal in comparison to paying for a coach.
Yeah, and even on that side, we've said it. For years now, like we've been using Juggernaut AI. As far as training apps go, I feel like that is somewhat on the premium side. They are building an actual app. It's not a white label service. Like I can't remember what those ones are called.
Yeah. Can't remember that either.
Train Heroic or something. I can't.
Yeah, that might be what it is. Yeah,
whatever it is. There's a couple of them out there where some people might not know this, where there's people that might have an app, but really it's just a different service, and they're kind of white labeling it and putting some things in. And not saying
a bunch of people have that.
Yeah, a lot of people do, and not saying that's a bad approach, but you are going to be limited to a certain extent by what the app allows you to do because you're, using someone else's system. Where Juggernaut is an app they built from the ground up for the Juggernaut training system. And as far as that goes, the app with code Massonomics ends up being about $30 a month. And, I think that is probably on the higher side of apps as far as training apps go, but
I think it is probably on the higher side.
Yeah. I can't imagine there's a whole lot of powerlifting apps that are more expensive than that. But then again, we were talking like $30 a month on comparison to a coach. I don't think you're getting many coaches for less than $30 a month or even $30 a month.
No. I think there's an element of convenience in the sense, depending on what kind of personality you have, but I may be a person that I don't really want to have this meeting with this paid coach.
I have enough phone calls and meetings and shit like that in the week.
Right. Right. I'm not like, that's not to my personality type. That's having that. Some of that stuff is not a pro. I'm like, this is like a time suck.
Like a chore. It feels like a chore.
Right.
Yeah, like, oh, you've just added another thing on my to-do list.
So that depends on what, how you relate to it. But there is something extremely convenient at the very least, not necessarily speaking to effectiveness, but there's something very convenient about just having a spreadsheet and just like, okay, here's my numbers. That's it.
Yep,
I did it.
Here's the plan. It's all laid out in front of me. I get what's going on here. Next on the list, we have no human error. Again, like if you have a good coach, you shouldn't be providing a lot of coaching errors, but a bad coach could easily send you the wrong spreadsheet, type in the wrong numbers, just have a bad program and not be paying attention to what you're doing. A spreadsheet with a little more defined program out front should eliminate some of those errors.
Yeah, another thing I'll say on the pro side of it, if you are someone that's a bit of a self-starter or a self-turn, you get going on your own or you enjoy taking on something and teaching yourself about it, it's a really good way to be able to learn more of it for yourself because there's a trial and error of, using some of these different templates and spreadsheets. And if you're paying attention to what you're doing and what's working, you learn a lot of things. Like I feel like I learned a lot about what works for me by doing 5-3-1, by doing like Candido 8-week training and, everything that I maybe tried over the years. Stronger by Science, Jackals, of course.
Yeah.
You start to learn by trying all these different things that are, can be kind of somewhat vastly different or somewhat comparable in ways, but there's just this learning process by trying these different things and like taking notes and feeling out what works for you.
Mm-hmm. Different training styles, different rep schemes, different exercise selections.
Yeah,
go through
different
enough of those, and you're like,
frequency.
I do see. This is how this works. Okay, this is what they're trying to do here. Yeah, so you can you start to get a broader picture of things that maybe a coach with a certain training style, you wouldn't be subjected to as much variety, so you'd be missing out on a few things there.
Yeah.
And with apps, programs, spreadsheets, you could say that they are based on a lot of experience, whether that's proven training models or the analysis of just hundreds or thousands of lifters going through them and gathering feedback on what does and doesn't work. They do have a certain level of scale that just a human coach will never be able to replicate. You know, they get just so many data points thrown at them that depending on this falls a little more into the app category, but also to a certain extent spreadsheets. You know, if someone is getting a spreadsheet and they're making updates and changes to it based on feedback, you know, if you have thousands of people looking at something, you are going to see scenarios and situations that you wouldn't have thought in the beginning. And, you know, you could ideally make a more optimal program based off of feedback, science, all of that going forward.
One other thing, we talked about how the hiring a coach, one of the huge pros is the flexibility and the adjustments that can go along with it. What I would say is some of the apps, you know, we use Juggernaut AI like we talked about. It's pretty good at some of the adjustments, the training adjustments, like whether it's just daily training adjustments, whether it's how it adjusts you over periods of time, whether it's frequency, volume, load,
Exercise selection.
It's pretty good at some of those adjustments. Now you're still going to be within a framework of a certain style of training.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to, actually, I do think they have changed where you can even select some different.
You can, I mean, if you really want to start to pull the levers, you can start to deconstruct the stuff a little bit.
I would also say with what it's really good at, you're still within a certain framework, but it can make a lot of little adjustments inside of that. But those adjustments rely on the feedback that you're giving. You know, it's not, you're not going to get someone else to look at you and make adjustments for you based on what they see. You know, those adjustments are dependent upon the user inputting information that is correct.
And also being honest with yourself about your weak points, your strong points, what's going well, what could go better. And that is where you really get the most out of an app like that.
Yeah. Anything else on the pros?
I think that's pretty good for now.
Okay. So what about the cons?
I would say one more for a spreadsheet, a program app. And this could also be a pro for a coach. It just depends on how your coach operates, because there's just a lot of ways you could do this. But with these programs, apps, spreadsheets, it creates a really easy to look back history log of your training too. And, you know, if you keep your own spreadsheets or you have it on your phone or however you do it, there's probably a way, but this probably does sound like an ad for Juggernaut now, but like in Juggernaut, it's very, very easy to go back and just look at your history of squats or whatever lift you pull up at it. You know, if maybe you haven't done
that. I do really like the history.
Yeah, like maybe as an accessory, I switch out face pulls. I take those out for, 12 weeks, 16 weeks. And then I decide, okay, I've gone through a few different training cycles here. I want to add those back in. What the hell was I doing? I literally clicked the button and like my entire history of face pulls are right there. And it's like, that's a good example because it's like a kind of an accessory that you don't really like think a lot about. And it's on the selectorized machine. So I'm not like, that number doesn't really, I hardly remember that number on a week to week basis, let alone if I went a few months. And yeah, I can just pull up that exercise and I can see every weight I've ever done with that ever across the board. So it makes it really easy to know your history on certain lifts.
That's good, I think. Now for cons, we talked about the big pro of the form feedback on hiring a coach. With going with any of these other options, you're not going to get that form feedback. Mm-hmm. You don't have a guaranteed reliable source for form feedback, especially if you're at a point in training where you could really use it. You're going to have to get some forward feedback if you're getting started. So if you're not having a coach, you got to get it somewhere.
Yeah.
And from someone
luckily
some
now there are a lot of online communities and options to get that out there. But yeah, you don't have that safe space of talking with a coach where
Right.
you can not be ripped apart for doing something wrong. Another con would be, depending on what you go with, a spreadsheet can definitely, and I've felt this in the past, where a spreadsheet can be more rigid, where it really feels like you're hopping on the train. And, if something goes off in the next, if it's an 8-week program or a 12-week program, if something doesn't go according to plan or things start going bad, it starts to be like, well, what the hell do I do now? Like the numbers I put in, they're not jiving with what I'm doing. Do I start over? Do I just arbitrarily bump things down a certain amount? Like you can get lost if things aren't going great or an injury happens or something like that. It can very much feel like, oh yeah, I've been left behind by my program.
That was the classic thing with like us all doing jackals. Is when it's working, it's really working. When you have a problem, you're kind of like, oh
yeah. If your shoulder's bugging you and you can't bench, it's like, oh, okay, what do I do now though? Like, I don't have the bench plan B program here.
Right. Right.
And part of that, I would also say, comes just with experience. Like now, I think you would say the same thing here. Like when something is not going good, you have a much better self-programmed option for how you get yourself out of that. Whereas in the past, it was like, no, you just keep pounding until it doesn't work anymore. And then you really have to figure out something, or then you have to just start all over.
Even for the feedback that you are getting, the adjustments on a spreadsheet, there is, there's minor adjustments that you're going to get, like something like Stronger by Science. You do get, actually, I think it does quite well for a spreadsheet. But with an app, you are getting adjustments, but it's based on those inputs that you're putting in there. So there is no human eye. You don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
What's the speed tracker, the velocity tracker?
Yeah, like the one I have through Juggernaut is Smart Barbell, but there's a bunch out there you can.
Yeah, so you could get that too, but it's still, which it provides additional feedback, but it's still not a human eye.
Yeah,
like
you don't have that coach to
missing
keep you
on
honest and say, "You're sure about that?" And
right.
keep things on track.
Yeah.
We also wrote down here, Tanner, a plateau risk. To me, this one almost applies to anything. Like this is a risk with any form of lifting. You can be with a coach for forever and not change things.
Right.
You could do the same thing with a program. You could also hop programs and never get better too. So
right.
There's always that risk of a plateau with anything, but it just comes down to being honest with yourself and saying, am I getting the results I want from this situation?
Yeah, I think that would lead into part of my summary of the whole thing is any of these options can be good. Any of these options can be really good. Any of these options can be bad. Any of them can be really bad. No matter what, it relies quite a bit on the lifter too. Like none of them take a shitty lifter out of the equation, but not a shitty lifter. I don't mean a weak lifter. I mean a person that's like not doing what they're supposed to, that's cheating, that's not squatting to depth, that's
not recovering from any workouts.
Right.
Not putting full effort in.
So any of them can be great and can be awful all at the same time, depending on the person utilizing them. I don't know. I don't really think there is a right or wrong answer, though.
I think it comes down to your individual style for the scenario, the environment that you think you would thrive in. And yeah, that just comes from some self-reflection and understanding your personality type and what it takes for you to thrive.
The only wrong answer I would say is if you're someone listening to this and you've definitively decided, no, a coach is better for everyone, or app is better for everyone. Yeah. That would be the wrong answer.
That is the wrong answer. Yes,
that is what I would think. You have got the wrong answer.
Another one. Okay, I'll say one more thing on the coach. Also, don't fall into this trap. I think most people that have been around have figured this one out, but I think more young lifters fall for this. Is just because someone is strong, do not assume they're a good coach. Like that's, if someone's pulled 700 pounds and they have a coaching program, yeah, that person's strong by all means.
Yeah.
But I don't know, can they, coaching is a business. Do they handle feedback correctly? Do they understand how to program you? Do they understand how to get maybe someone that's a drug-free athlete ready for a meet versus an athlete that's on drugs? Like, there's a lot of variables there. So again, don't just pick a coach because you perceive them to be strong. Or that they have a big social media presence.
Well, and that brings up a point to me about coaches. What a really good coach between an okay coach, like some coaches might understand programming really well, but still not be good coaches because there is like a
difference between understanding and implementing it.
Well, and there's also just a communication skill of like a really good coach. You know, someone could know every X and O to compare to a sport about football, but they're still not a good coach.
Right. Yeah. Like the players don't like you. They're not motivated to play. They don't want to, succeed under you or take part in your system. Like there is a human factor to it when you have a coach.
Right.
I think a lot of people don't want to admit that on certain things. I mean, same thing for business too. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I have all the skills, but so-and-so makes it work. And it's like, yeah, because they got the human part down, man. They're connecting with people.
Yeah, I would say this. If you can find a really good coach that knows their X's and O's of strength training, that's also a good communicator that you enjoy talking to.
And
if price wasn't a factor, I would say that's always would be the better choice.
But
right?
it's but even there, all those things to me, it's like now you have the possibility that this could go good. Like that's
right.
It's still not even a guarantee that this is going to go good.
No, it's not a guarantee.
But like all those things you said, it feels like you're saying the exceptional person, but it's also like that kind of feels like that should be your expectation. If you're hiring a business, I mean, at the end of the day, like a coach is a business. Like if you're hiring a business to help you get better at something, they should be a good communicator. They should be responsive.
Right.
Like they should be on the same page communication wise as far as how this is going to work. Like they should, be helping you get stronger. And if like they're not checking almost all of those boxes, it's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. But it's funny because there are a lot of people that aren't checking those boxes.
I don't think thanks to the internet and social media, I think there's a lot of coaches that maybe check half of those, maybe.
Right. Yes. Anything else to wrap it up in a bow? Pros versus cons. Drop a comment in the YouTube. What do you do? Have you done both? If you've done both, which do you like better? Is there one that you don't like? Did we miss some really important pros and cons of either of them? Are you like, oh, you guys haven't had a coach, so you don't know the biggest secret pro that those of us that have a coach, we only understand it. Right. Because you're an outsider.
Like you don't know when you join a coach, there's a special club you're entered into, and only these people know the secret.
Yeah, so let us know. Please give away the secrets in the comment section. Let us know what we missed. Does that wrap it up on that?
I think so. I think it's been wrapped.
All right, that's way too much sets and reps talking. So I got to ask you, do you know who Timmy Trumpet is?
No.
Yeah, maybe it's funny because I was listening to this song in the gym the other day, and someone came up to me and goes, oh, I thought maybe Tommy was back in the gym. I hadn't heard music like this in the gym for so long. And like the most popular song is Narco by Timmy Trumpet.
All right, let's see. Maybe I do know it. I just never.
And I used it in a couple memes. It's the walkout song that they play for I believe the closer for the Mets.
Okay, I saw that. Okay, see when
I just really like. I like the trumpet.
You don't hear this, do you?
No.
Okay.
No, but Tommy's sampling Timmy Trumpet. So anyone else, you can go pause this.
I mean, I've heard the song.
Yeah, they play it on a lot of sports, but then he's got a couple others. Yeah, I mean, he's got a whole bunch of songs, of course, I suppose, but he's got a handful of other ones that I've started to like too. And I really like the trumpet mixed with what style of music is that? Would you call that?
Sorry, what was that? You said what was the what?
I really like the trumpet style, but I feel like it accompanies the style.
Oh,
of
like
music.
the EDM kind of.
Yeah,
thing.
I think it's with the EDM.
Arena.
I like the juxtaposition of the trumpet playing with the EDM music.
Yeah, I've definitely heard some of these like this. Yeah. And a lot of them are from like when I was paying more attention to this scene. A lot of them are from like 2013 to 2017.
So you've never really paid attention to
I
the
never
name
knew
Timmy
his
Trumpet
name, though. That
before.
never stuck out to me.
Okay.
But I have heard some like Freaks, and that one has a
Yeah.
500 million plays. So I've heard of that.
Right.
And yeah, I have heard a few of these before, though.
That wouldn't be my most typical frequent music enjoyed, but I found listening to it, I'm like, I kind of like most of these.
Yeah, I feel like this
think
got mixed into a lot of like DJ mixes. Like this would be a song that would appear for 30 seconds in a random DJ mix that you'd.
Right. That the Narco is played at like sporting events a
Yeah.
lot and stuff too, like it just.
Yep.
So that's it. That was Timmy Trumpet.
Okay.
So-
So Timmy in there. I didn't know for sure what was.
Timmy!
I've heard there's this character on South Park named Timmy.
Have you ever seen he's in a wheelchair?
Have you heard about this? Have you seen
Disabled?
this?
No, that's Jimmy.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy.
Jimmy. Jimmy?
It's so stupid now thinking about the whole concept of those two characters.
Yeah, because what was it? He's like Jimmy's like a stand-up comic. He's like, yeah, have you heard about this? Have you seen this?
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? That's good. Okay, we got some random things here. Oh, one more training talk item. I had mentioned this. I think you posted it on Instagram. I've sent you clips of me doing face pulls sitting down in my gym using the Spud Inc. long ab strap. And, I use like the low row plate to really anchor myself in. I'd never done face pulls before. I tried them standing up and I'm like, I can't find the spot where I'm not just cheating it with my body. And, I saw some video of, I can't even remember where it was online, of someone saying, yeah, you can like put your feet on something to anchor you. And so that's when I did the, I'm not the first person to do it, but that's what
You invented it.
I invented it. I'll take it. Okay. Yep. I backtrack everything I said. I invented seated face pulls, but with the long ab strap, I might have been, who knows? But anyways, about a week ago, I saw Joe Sullivan had a post saying, guys, this is the way, this is how you need to be doing face pulls.
And was
he
it your
said
way?
It was the long ab strap and it was seated. He was doing them like, so you have to be somewhat shorter and also have an enormous lat pull down machine to do it, because he was sitting where you would do lat pull downs with the Spud Inc. long ab strap. I mean, I would need a lat pull down machine
with that
10 feet tall.
Right.
For me to do that. But he was doing it, and he was doing it just like I did. You put your hands in it, and he's like, I've never felt like the face pulls have never felt so good. He goes, I'm doing them for all my clients going forward. This is the way to do it. And I saw Johnny Candido had like reposted it too. He's like, oh, I got to try this. And I'm telling you, man, that is the way to do it. And you can, with the long ab strap, because it is that soft fabric and it is so long, you can either do the thing where you kind of loop your hands inside of it where it kind of pulls on your wrists.
Yeah.
And that's one feeling, because it kind of takes grip out of it completely then. Or the other thing that I started doing recently when I cut my hand, I couldn't do that because it was going on the cut, is you can just grab the strap itself. And it's dumb, but actually grabbing the strap makes it feel different again too.
Right.
I'm telling you, I do. I love that movement. I just have a hard time ever taking that out of the rotation now because it feels great. So
I might have to give those a try sometime. I don't think I've ever done that.
yeah, that's the way to do them. Get that.
Out of all the things you said there, I have like 3 follow-ups. I'm going to have to try those, and I'll follow up with those.
Well, do you have the Spud Inc. long ab strap though? That's the first one. You might need to get that thing.
We've got a really long dual strap.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, it's blue. I don't know if you remember it, but each side is like that long.
Oh,
we've got a couple
that's-
different ones.
That's basically
even,
what it is then, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know that we have the spud-ink.com-straps one, but we've got some same thing, I think.
Well, and if you don't, if that one isn't up to par, you know where to get the good one at. So.
Right, spud-ink.straps.com. They are incorporated. You mentioned Johnny Candido. Have you watched any of his YouTube videos ever lately? Like, he's occasionally posted a couple things.
To be totally honest, I never have really kept up with him that well in like the last 8 years, and
no, I know,
even less so now.
He takes a lot of some really hard I watched like one video, and I'm like, makes a lot of bold stances on things too, to the point where I'm almost like, which is fine. Everyone's entitled to do what they
He does
want.
speak in a lot
I'm
of
like,
absolutes.
you're gonna like, you kind of rub a lot of people the wrong way by the way you say some of this stuff. I think too, which he's a very knowledgeable guy when it comes to training and that sort of thing too. But I'm like, sometimes I I feel like, gosh, it'd be a weird place to come from to feel like you know that you absolutely know so many things. That are more subjective in my eyes at times.
Right.
You know, like
no, I know. That's why I have a hard time like watching his stuff too closely. But I definitely know what you mean.
One other small follow-up on that is because it was the ab strap or whatever the Spud Ink one was called. It reminded me I've been continuing to do the ab wheel rollouts. Making great progress. Today I did 3 sets of 8, and they are hard. At this point still, but not debilitating.
Right. You don't feel like you're actually causing bodily harm.
So like a month in, I am now able to I'm just barely like a week ago I was doing like 3 sets of 5, and they were or 2 weeks ago or whatever the progression has been. It's just been very slowly getting to where I'm like, okay, I can take on a little more. And I think like a month from now, I'm going to be back to being able to be real good at them, even at a certain point.
Real ab wheel expert over here.
Yeah. But it's funny how that progression like how it's so hard and you can get better at that. Okay. This is actually what I really wanted to talk about. I completely forgot about this, and I see it here on the list now. I posted on Instagram. I made this sort of a post the other day. It was a video of me benching, and this goes back to just a stupid thing in the gym where it's like your brother reminds me of it the most, where we like to say like, this came from like Lone Wolf Strength Training, like a video 10 years ago, and he said
deep cuts
that dips were the squat of the upper body, and then like Ryan will just
say it about anything, kind of.
What it's like anything's the whatever of the lower body or the whatever the upper body, and like the dumber you can say it, the dumber comparison you make, it's like Spud Ink ab strap face pulls, yes, the leg extension of the upper body, But so I posted a video of a bench, and I said, is bench press the squat of the upper body? Some people say, yeah, it is the squat of the upper body. A lot of people say dips are the squat of the upper body. And I'm curious, what do you think is the squat of the upper body, and how do you analyze it?
Now,
and why do you come to it?
I'm no exercise scientist. I don't even pretend to be. So my logic is probably deeply flawed. I'll just say that out first.
But what is your feeling?
Why I like the idea of the bench being the squat of the upper body is that there is a barbell involved. So first of all, I feel like squats typically involve the barbell. So if a movement,
at least the way we think of squats,
at least the way I think of squats, and I mean the way that squats actually matter, is barbell involved. So if your movement is the squats of the upper body that doesn't involve a barbell, you're already taking a pretty big jump there. So I'm not super on board with that. The second thing that I like about the idea of bench is that you have to unrack and bring the weight out before you start, just like a squat, which again supports the bench one. You do have to hit a certain point of depth in the bench as well. And then you do have to bring the weight back up. So, maybe I'm a little too simple in my logic here, but those things make me really lean towards the bench being the squat of the upper body.
The other thing that I would add to that, now I have counterpoints to it, but the other thing I have to add to the bench press being the squat of the upper body is, in powerlifting, it's you squat and you bench.
Right.
So there's that, first of all. Okay, that's powerlifting.
The snake to my mongoose.
Just training in general, whether you're a powerlifter, not so much a strongman, but a bodybuilder, whatever it is, a vast majority of people, one of their primary lifts that they do is a squat and a bench press. The first thing you come in and do on an upper body day, a press day, maybe it's an overhead press, or maybe it's a bench press. How many people is their primary upper body pressing movement? The dip. Now, I'm not saying it is for nobody.
But
I'm not saying that there's nobody.
I hope that's not like your primary upper body movement.
It's my dips. Like we talked about training programs and templates and things. How many things do you go and you're like, yep, upper body press day, dips.
I've
First
never
thing,
seen that
let's
on a program
program
ever,
the
but
dips.
That's the yeah.
Well, it's way hard to load.
Yes,
I
it's
mean,
so
not
hard
that you
to
can't
load.
load it, but it's really hard to incrementally load and progress. It's harder. Here's what I'll say. It is harder to incrementally load and like monitor, track, progress than weights on a barbell. Weights on a barbell is why the main lifts are all weights on a barbell, because of
Right.
that
Like,
reason.
it's, I mean, we know a lot of people that have gotten to 300 and 400 pound benches. I mean, are you going to load 400 pounds on you for dips? Like, that's
Well,
not
at a
thing.
certain point, nobody does that.
I know. that's
Like,
what
I'm just saying, like
that's
people
not
just
a thing,
literally
even.
don't do it.
Yeah.
So like whether even just taking out the actual comparison of the specific lifts, it's just like, what is the thing that people do?
And in a powerlifting context, especially, it makes no sense to go that far down the road of being a dip expert versus
Right.
like, well, why would you just get better at benching if you're going to be putting all this upper body work in?
Right. What I would say in favor of the dip, based on what I guess I've thought about or what I've heard people say. Now, I don't necessarily, this isn't what I think, but the squat is at its core a body weight exercise that you then load. It doesn't require additional equipment.
With a barbell.
Right. Or, it could be a kettlebell or
Again,
whatever.
you're going to be very limited to what you can load in a hurry.
But you can do the movement without equipment.
You
On
can
a bench press-
without equipment, you just lay down and move your arms up and down. That's fine too. And you could do that. No one's stopping you.
Right. You could.
I
But
mean,
the
okay.
dip-
So, sorry.
That's
Keep
what's-
going. Keep going.
So that's one thing. It's just that loose thing. But then the other thing, no, I'm not sure about this. I've heard people say it, and I'm just not sure. The squat, a very compound movement that requires your like entire body.
Yep.
They'll say, well, that's what dips, dips, it's your shoulders, it's your triceps, it's your chest, it's your core and all that. I'm like, that's what someone would say in favor of the dip in this comparison. But isn't it true for the bench press too?
I mean, I can
Or
tell you
not.
my lower body's involved way more in bench press than it ever is in dips.
Because you're kind of connected to the ground also.
Tell me how much you bench with your feet up versus with your feet down. So like, doesn't
Right.
that indicate right there that your lower body does play a role in the bench press?
Right.
I mean, your legs can be doing anything on the dips.
You
It
could
doesn't
not
really matter.
have legs.
You-
and
you
do
could- you
dips.
could not have
Well, you
legs.
could not have legs and do bench too. But
You could, but
it's not even really
will
hard to
affect
do
you a
movement
little
of it. Yeah. Then the other thing I thought in that comparison. So if you start making those reasons why it's dips instead of bench, then I would go even farther. If that's the reasons you're going to say it's dips because you don't need, there's no equipment, it's a bodyweight thing. At a certain point, I'm like, well, isn't it push-ups then? If like that's the logic you want to use,
Yeah.
why is it dips?
Yeah, that's
It's then to me it's push-ups.
I think you could, if you're going to allow dips, I think you could very quickly get to push-ups. But my whole thing is like in our context, especially if we're talking
Right.
about squatting in a powerlifting, to more of a powerlifting standard with our conversation here.
Yes.
I mean, that the very act of that revolves around using a weighted barbell, a barbell that you're loading
Right.
with weight, and you
Right.
cannot load a barbell with weight for dips. That's not a thing.
Right.
So that's just where the bench to me wins out on that.
Some other people said the overhead press is the squat of
And I
upper
could-
body. I could see that, but actually what I think the better comparison is, I think you say the bench is the squat of the upper body and the overhead press is the deadlift.
It is because you're
of the upper
starting
body.
Yeah, you're starting. Yeah, that's why I
You're
think.
starting at the
That's why
I think the overhead press as the deadlift of the upper body is a
I-
pretty good comparison.
I think so. I think that's very good. Like it
actually, that being a good
mean,
comparison
if you
strengthens
really-
the idea that the bench is the squat.
Yeah,
I think,
like maybe
like
a purist would say, well, but the deadlift is a pull, so maybe like you need a seal row is the deadlift of the upper body. If you want to be really literal with it. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
Or like an upright row, but even an upright row,
I guess all the that's because this I could.
But an upper arrow just feels
that gets
too
tricky.
too close
right,
to a
it's-
deadlift
it's
already.
I know. At a certain point, you're like, no, it's
you're
just,
sort of just
you're just a
doing
variation
the
of
movement.
the lift.
Yeah, like you're sort of just doing the movement. Like in the for the sake of the game, it's too similar. I feel like there.
Right, I think so too. That's where that would be my hang up on that is you can't make those comparisons because that's just at its core almost the same lift. Kind
Yeah,
of,
it's like, oh yeah, you really went
you're
out on
breaking the game by doing that because
right,
it's like
too similar.
Right. It's funny because it's so stupid.
But you could really, you can apply as much logic as you want here and personal bias
Right.
and actually come to an answer,
I think this is a question. What was the infamous question that we had to ask everyone?
The best gauge of strength. But I
What's-
think this
what
is a
lift
good
is
one.
the
Yeah.
best?
For
I
what
think
is
what is the squat
squat
of the upper body?
I like that. And also what's the deadlift of the upper body?
Yes, that's the follow-up question.
Mm-hmm.
And I think how you answer that question affects or may even change how you think about the answer to the first question.
True. Yeah.
Because I think when you say we're on a similar page, when you say that the overhead press is the deadlift of the upper body, that strengthens the case for the bench being the squat of the upper body to me, because then you're taking these those are the 4 core movements.
That's
what
the thing,
I go back
like
to in strength training. Those are the 4 core movements in strength training almost.
The logic we've moved those, we've kind of have painted ourselves into this corner of like those being the only right answers.
Right.
Mostly because, we're talking about, we sort of have arrived at, well, for the sake of this game, you need to be using barbell movements is kind of what we have landed at. If someone, and I do feel like that is the more right answer here, but if someone doesn't care as much about powerlifting, all right. Also, like, if you don't care as much about powerlifting, the game of the squat of the upper body and the deadlift of the upper body, they're like, well, why did you pick those 2 exercises? And it's like, well, because those are the powerlifting movements.
Right.
Like, well, I don't even care about those movements. Like, so this game's dumb from the start,
That's
like
the fun part about the game.
Like we do kettlebell swings. What's the kettlebell swings? What's the see? I don't even know enough about.
That's like, I don't know. Kipping pull-ups is the kettlebell swing. I think kipping pull-ups is the kettlebell swing of the upper body.
Yeah.
It's also funny you get the also confusing part about the whole thing is like, well, the squat is like a whole body movement almost.
Mm-hmm.
The deadlift really feels like almost that's like an all body movement. That's where the so hard part becomes of like the row, because it's like, on the deadlift, you're already using your entire back along with your glutes, your hamstrings.
Like you're kind of almost doing the same thing.
It's what makes the game even
at the end.
Yeah, it's what makes the game even dumber, because it's like, what is the deadlift of the upper body? Well, you're already using a lot of your upper body to deadlift.
Yeah, in a literal sense, you would say, well, what upper body movement involves the most pulling? But yeah, I don't. It just feels like, oh, you're just talking deadlift variations now.
Well, a pull-up is a pull-up.
Well,
is a pull-up the deadlift of the upper body.
If you're going to talk body movement weights,
is a pull-up the deadlift of the upper body.
It is. It's where do pull-ups, dips, and push-ups fit into the whole scenario? Is
actually a pull-up is a pull-ups and dips go together really well to me in my opinion. They're both of the upper body, of course, but they are the inverse of each other, at least in the upper body, I would say.
Or is the pull-up the inverse of the overhead press?
Yeah, it kind of is literally moving your hands in the exact same plane of motion almost in that point.
Yeah, it is. The challenge here is that factor of having a barbell versus not having one. That's what messes the whole thing up.
I mean, all the points that we've made, or the points we've made against it or for, are also stupid at the end of the day, is why I like the conversation. And it's like in the comment section, so many people are like, no, it's dips. I feel like there is a group of people that want to die on the hill.
So that actually is a thing.
Yeah, there's a group of people that are like, no, dips are the squat of the upper body. There's definitely a group of people that are very strongly in that camp.
I mean, I understand where they're coming from, but I mean, you're starting at extension, and you're weighted and you go down to like depth, but the fact that it's not a barbell that you're manipulating is the part that doesn't quite sit right with me.
What if you could, What if you could do dips with like the Mars bar?
Or like the power pole on you, and you're like,
Yeah.
or that.
But what about the Mars
Zercher
bar? Because then
harness.
it is
the Mars bar, true, and you're just loading
Yeah.
that up.
But
I
there's so
mean-
little weight anyone could load. Like you're gonna get to like
That's
100
the
pounds
thing.
and be like, oh
I-
my god.
I don't even know. Is someone
You're
that's really
crushed.
good? Would they be able to load 150 pounds for 5 reps? Would someone be able to do that?
That would sure be a lot, I would think. I mean, actually, back in the day, DJ Doxy at the YMCA was the dip master, and I'm pretty sure he could throw like 4 or 5 plates hanging between. Like it was actually insane. But that's
so like
still we're just
180-ish pounds.
right, and that was pretty wild to see.
Yeah, and also we're talking a guy that's incredible. I mean, you also have to be somewhat
He was
lean
built
because if you
for
weigh
it, yeah.
300 pounds already,
Right.
you just can't load it very much.
Yeah, that's the interesting part too. Body weight as far as the comparison, body weight for dips is kind of body weight for pull-ups is obviously a hindrance. Body weight for dips, I mean, you'd say it's a hindrance, but body weight for squat, you're not like, oh, squatting for you is going to be tough. You've got to move that 400,
right, yeah.
400 pounds of your fat
You weigh
ass up and down.
400, yeah.
Like that's got to be tough for
I mean,
you. Like
we're
you,
all thinking it, but
like you don't do a squat and be like, well, there's 1,000 pounds on the bar plus my 400 pounds of body weight. But someone will be like dips. They're like, well, I'm got 90. It's my body weight plus 90 pounds.
and you'd say you are insane.
Yeah, if someone
That is
started
funny. So that's the thing
referring
about
to
those
squat
body weight
that way.
exercises, though, is
Yeah.
that people love to play the game very quick of at factoring in. Well, heavy guys love to factor in how much they weigh, and then light people don't like to acknowledge that they don't weigh anything.
Right.
So the barbell just like evens that all out. It takes that out of the equation.
Right.
That's where-
Yeah, because anything that's a barbell exercise, not that weight's not a factor, but it's actually just the opposite.
Mhm.
The weight is the factor the opposite direction whenever you're using a barbell.
yeah.
Which is kind of funny. So then that makes an even harder case to compare the dip to the squat then, I think.
I think so. Totally. I 100% agree. Like, I mean, I knew lots of people when we were in middle school that when you do the presidential fitness test that could knock out, 10 to 15 pull-ups weren't really that strong. You're like a 7th grader that weighs 100 pounds. Like that's just,
Yeah.
7th grader that weighs 90 pounds. You're just really, really light and lean. And also, I mean, you're in shape, but you're not really that strong.
Right. So what is your definitive answer? What lift is the squat of the upper body?
The squat of the upper body is the bench press. The overhead press is the deadlift of the upper body.
All right. On our YouTube channel, if you're listening just on audio only on Apple Podcasts, wherever else, go to our YouTube channel to drop a comment on this discussion. That's where we want to funnel the commentary on this, because I think there'll be a lot of discussion.
Yeah.
on
So are
this.
you in agreement with me there? Or do you have any objections?
At the end of the day, I'm in agreement. I've thought
Okay.
about it quite a bit since I posted that just as kind of a joke because Ryan and I joke about
I saw that. I'm like,
stuff
oh yeah,
and,
this is something we always get talked about. That's why I didn't think that there would be anyone that would take that seriously when I saw that post.
Yeah, so that was where the motivation from that comes from. But as I've continued to think about it, I understand the case for dips. I understand why someone would say it. I understand why someone would maybe say overhead press. But I think I've got to say that the bench press is the squat of the upper body for all reasons discussed here today.
I'm just trying to look at some of these.
But let us know, actually let us know in the comments, what do you think is the squat of the upper body? If you want to go further than that, what is the deadlift of the upper body? And provide some of your reasoning.
Yeah, well,
Well,
and actually, we didn't. I do see Sam's comment here, and we didn't discuss this. What is the bench of the lower body? Just
You flip it.
Just because the bench is the squat of the upper body doesn't necessarily mean that the squat is the bench of the lower body.
What is the bench of the lower body? I would almost say, I don't know, because this contradicts so much that I've said before, but I feel like the bench of the lower body, well, I kind of do feel like it's the squat a little bit,
Okay,
because I was
so
going to
that
say it's
does-
like the leg. I'm going to say that's like the leg press.
That's what I was thinking of for a second.
But that would be more like a Smith machine bench.
Yeah.
An inclined Smith machine bench of the lower body would be a leg press.
Write that one down.
I feel really confident about that. incline Smith machine press of the lower body is a leg press. Or maybe a hack squat.
Maybe that's the most important thing we took from this discussion.
Yes. Would crunch be the opposite of a back extension? Are there?
I mean, yeah. Well, that's not the game. We're not looking for opposites here. We're looking for.
That's true. That's true. We're not looking for Yeah, it's same but different.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some interesting comments in here. Yeah, a lot of dippers in the.
Yeah. So I'll be curious to see the discourse on that one in the YouTube comments. Some people are going to be coming for blood on that. I can already sense it.
Yeah, I think so.
They're going to be like, "You dumb bastards." It's the dip, and now you just sit there and listen.
I've
while
let
I
too
tell
much
you
go
why
on
it's
this
the
meme
dip.
page for too long.
He's like, "You freaking idiots."
This is where I draw the line. First, you convinced me cottage cheese is good.
I will not just stand idly by and let you say that the dip is not the squat of the upper body. I have to think about the sentence every time of what it even is.
I know, you keep saying it every time you're saying it. I'm thinking, is he saying the right thing?
Love it. We're gonna have to do some polls on that too, of like what the. Isn't that of all the ones we talk about? Isn't that the one you want to know though? What is the squat of the upper body?
Yes. That's
the most interesting. That's the of all the things you could say. That's the one to be talked about though, right? Can we all agree on that?
I think so.
You're not dying to know what the overhead press of the lower body is.
No, not especially. Or the what's the feet up bench of the lower body?
Yeah, the feet up bench of the lower body would be I guess that would be like Hatfield squats.
You think so?
Hatfield squats.
I'd have to think on that one a little more. I've used all my
Your
critical
hands are
thinking power on.
I'm not sure, but then I might think
Your
is that
hands
the
are
wrong-
up.
Yeah. But that might be the opposite of what makes sense.
I feel like
actually,
your hands are helping you.
Yeah, right, right.
Yeah, so feet up bench, you're taking your lower
making
body
it
out of
harder.
the equation. So you need to
It
do
was
one that's
making the
taking your upper
so you
body
need-
out of the equation for squat.
So is it the belt squat?
Maybe actually that might be closer to it. Yeah. I
it the
follow
belt
that logic
squat?
more, where you're taking the other half out of the equation there.
Right. But the belt squat really is actually quite similar to the Hatfield squat of what.
Well, yeah,
people
but a
do.
Hatfield squat, but I mean, the very fact of doing a Hatfield squat means you have to have your hands on something.
But most
Right.
people belt squat that way.
Well, they do, but I always like when I do the belt squat, if anything, I try to hover my hands so I'm not, because it's so easy to cheat it big time, you know?
Right. A lot of people do that though. Like it feels like
Yeah.
that's what I agree. Like I feel like that.
If anything,
a
they're
different
just for a
thing.
balance point for me, but I try to
Right.
have my arms doing nothing in a belt squat.
I think that's the way to do. I think that's the premium way to do it.
Oh,
in my
with like
opinion, too.
especially with like a lever arm type one, if you get your hands involved to a point where you're like lifting, you can just start loading weight up on that, you know?
Makes me go back to what is then the lower body version of the legs up, feet up bench. It's a variation of the squat that makes it way harder, that you can do less weight. So it's
Well,
like
I feel like it's
pause
not
squat.
just that though. Like it has to be sort of taking your upper, the opposite part of your body out of the equation.
Yeah, that's way harder to do on the squat though.
That's why I think
too.
the belt squat probably is the right answer there, because you can do a
Right.
belt squat where you take, your upper body
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's enough of that. We could go down. We could do that forever.
And we might. I'm sure we'll do follow up on what is the squat of the upper body next week, probably. we're talking about having some more guests on coming up in the future. We've got some exciting. Here's a teaser. We were talking about having another former World's Strongest Man champion on the podcast we've been talking with, and that's probably going to happen soon. So let us know your guesses on, we've had Mitchell Hooper on before. I think he's the only champion that we've interviewed on the podcast. We've interviewed Kaz and Thor also before, but not on the podcast. It's not either of those ones either. So someone we've never interviewed before that's a World's Strongest Man champion. Coming to the Massonomics podcast sometime soon. Let us know in your guesses who you think that might be. We're pretty excited about that one. And a couple other interviews that I think are going to be pretty cool to mix back in. We haven't done many interviews again for a while. We kind of got on this track, and I've really been enjoying it. But maybe that means it'll be fun to mix some of those in too after a while. This episode is brought to you by, we mentioned it at length in our title topic, Juggernaut AI. Check them out at juggernautai.app. Go get signed up, for all the pros that we talked about, especially in that template Excel sheet app category. Juggernaut, I would say this, like the highest of the highs of those pros qualify for Juggernaut AI. And
do you want the highest of the highs with none of the lowest of the lows?
Well, and that's kind of like the biggest cons that we noted in there for that group. Juggernaut AI does everything almost possible to reduce those, I think, because that's kind of the strength of Juggernaut AI. It gets it as close to a coach without actually paying for a coach. It is kind of like having a coach right in your front pocket. Preferably not your back pocket. Only psychopaths would put their cell phone in their back pocket. Yeah. Have you seen people do that before, though?
It's been a long
Seems like
time
women do that.
Yeah, sometimes their only operational pocket. The other ones are just for show.
That feels like you're playing with so many different forms of fire by putting your phone in your back pocket.
I'd have
sitting
a hard
on
time
it, falling out, someone stealing it. There's 3 reasons not to put your phone in your back pocket.
The pros and cons list. It's starting right now. Yeah. Don't even get him going.
Put your coach in your phone in your front pocket with juggernautai.app. Use discount code Massonomics. Save you 10% for the life of your membership.
This episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. If you listen to this show, we've had some discussions about what does made in America actually mean in this day and age. Well, one thing I will never question is where a Texas Power Bar is made, because it's right there in the name. It's made in Texas in the US of A. And their website right here says they're the strongest bars in the world. I can't debate them on that, so I'll take their word for it. I think they are the strongest bars in the world. I, in my home gym, have been rocking the 29 millimeter Texas Power Bar, and it is, for the money, my favorite power bar on the market today. It's a just all-arounder that you cannot beat. Great aggressive knurling, super durable, high-quality bar. I love the thing. They also have the Texas deadlift bar, which is pretty much the industry standard for deadlift bars at this point in time. So get one of those if you're lifting in a meet that has deadlift bars. Then they have a whole other selection of bars: squat bars, bench bars, all-American bars, the original Texas Power Bar, all available in a variety of finishes and color options. Buy yours today at texaspowerbars.com. Thank you, Texas Power Bars.
Thank you, Texas Power Bars. Perfect little sweetie was sending Facebook Marketplace deals. Had to look. Those Facebook Marketplace deals don't.
Someone had a pretty.
Were
you on the one for that dumbbell set in town here the other day?
Yeah, that was a great.
That was a really good deal. It was like basically the Massonomics set, like those pro style Avanco kind of looking.
Yeah, those
ones.
are nice. Those are the nicest of the pro style ones. Those are my favorite ones.
Yeah, and someone had a set from like 10 to 75 for like $600. That was a deal.
That was a good deal. That was a good deal. If I didn't have 5,000 dumbbells, I'd be like, I want those also.
Yeah, and besides the one, I think it was like the 60-pounder was more of that solid cast one or whatever you call those. But outside of that, the whole set matched. It was, if I didn't have rep-ins, I'd be hard not to go with that.
Yeah. Speaking of equipment, I've got some piece of very cool vintage weight equipment that's going to be coming to Massonomics Gym that's got a really, really cool story behind it. That'll be exciting to share. That all the sharks, as Efren would say, there was a big shark deal that went down in the vintage weight groups this week, and the real sharks I was fortunate enough that my name was on their list of people that they might let in on the deal, and we'll share. I'll share it more once I've taken possession and stuff, but pretty exciting.
So you're saying you got a pair of those special Jackson squat stands that Efren had in his garage? Is that
or was it the Jackson leg?
Oh, you got a Jackson vertical leg press.
Yeah, the vertical leg press, the only one I wanted. Yeah,
you finally got it. Ever since you saw that in Efren's gym, you won't stop talking about it.
It wasn't that, but it is something that will carry almost a story of that nature. So, yeah, it is Jackson related. I'll say that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
is it Michael Jackson related or?
Well, I didn't say which Jackson.
Some vintage Michael Jackson stuff.
Yeah. Not sure if I want it very much, vintage Michael Jackson stuff. Okay. Massonomics YouTube. We didn't really mention it all episode, I don't think. Go to our YouTube channel. The last video that's already been published is the multi-flight review from Temple of Gains with you and Big Kyle. That was a great equipment review video. I love that one. Actually, I want one of those.
I don't think we've ever talked about that one even since.
No, I that multi-flight, I was really impressed with us using that. We've used like 3 different sort of versions of that from other more expensive equipment manufacturers, and that one's as good, if not better, than the alternatives from what we've used, and just like anecdotal experience.
It has all the other ones beating adjustability, like no doubt.
Sure.
Like there's not even room for debate on that.
Right.
It has the most utility amongst all of them,
and it's the most affordable of them also. So that's kind
of
facts. Yeah. So check out that video if you didn't, and then also by the time this comes out, there will be our gym tour with Big Jake from Garage Gym Experiment and Home Gym Con. Our tour of his 3-stall garage gym, his station garage gym. He's got all these stations in there in his big 3-stall garage gym that we checked out in Indy. So watch that. I'll say it before, I'll say it again. I don't know if we have the most gym tours on YouTube yet, but if we don't yet, we will soon. We probably do by now, and ours are the best. Nobody has better gym tours. I've seen other people make a good effort at it, and there's some other good ones out there. It's not to take away from theirs, but ours are better. Ours are better than theirs.
We don't make the rules, just the way it is.
Our gym tours are better than everyone else's. There's not many things we do that I think ours is just like definitively better than everyone else's, but I'll say it. They can, whoever wants to can come fight me on it. Our gym tours are better than yours. If you're listening and you do gym tours, ours are better than yours. And I might not die on the bench press being the squat of the lower body, but I was just trying to think of
how do I spin this to that? Our gym tours are the squat of the upper body.
So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're getting really close to 10,000 subs on YouTube, which is a big deal for us. So help us hit that. We did just cross over 600 reviews on Apple Podcasts. That was also a pretty big monument for us to tackle, to cross over. And that means there's going to be, we always do something special whenever we hit the 100 mark on Apple Podcast reviews. So be on the lookout. Actually, something special to commemorate that will be coming very soon, as a matter of fact.
Right around the corner.
Yeah. Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic is only like 45 days out, probably less than 40 days by the time this publishes.
But who's counting?
It is next month. As a matter of fact,
actually kind of hit me yesterday. I'm like, oh, damn. It's like just weeks away at this point.
Yes, it is next month. And also I'll be in Home Gym Con, Louisville in just a few weeks.
Yeah, about 3 weeks.
Recording content for Massonomics. So Massonomics, never short on things going on.
No shortage.
Massonomics is a machine in motion in it can't be stopped, or at least we're not.
It is a
willing to allow it to
machine,
stop.
and there's the
It
two
could
of us.
actually be stopped really easily.
Well, it
if
could
both of
be,
us just
but
stopped,
right now the machine is going, and the two of us are just hanging off the back of it. It's like a Mad Max movie. And there's just all these just post-apocalyptic machines with these crazy gremlins shooting flames, and we're just barely hanging on for dear life.
That's actually what it feels like.
We're not even totally sure where it's going, but it's crazy. And it's hot. And presumably smells bad the whole time, too.
There's diesel fumes everywhere, and it's really sweaty.
Just guys with questionable clothing on everywhere.
And there's like a really weird mix of technology on the machine where like some of it seems really advanced, but some of it's really old.
Yeah. Yep, that is Massonomics. That is what it's like.
And
come join us.
And it's
on
you
this
and I
train.
just barely hanging on in the back.
It's like when Tom Hardy is like, I don't even remember. He's like hanging on by a strap, and it's like dragging him across the desert. That's kind of like us for the last year and a half right now.
Someone make that imagery and post it in the Massonomics Discord and Instagram and stuff, because that is what Massonomics is.
Yeah, it kind of sums up how I feel.
And we are just hanging on.
I cannot make this clear enough that nothing has expressed how I feel more clearly than that image right there.
And it's like, y'all good over there? Y'all need anything? And it's like, yeah, we need a bunch of stuff. I don't even know what.
And you get done watching the
probably
movie,
can't give it
and
to
you're
me.
like really stressed out and sweaty, and you're not even sure if you had fun or not. It was just so hectic. That's what it's like. That was fun.
Entertained.
I think I was entertained.
Yeah.
I felt something.
I don't know what the emotions are for sure.
Yep. That's it.
New drop, home gym nerd tee, one of the coolest shirts we've dropped in a while, and then the comp meat tee. If you're a power lifter, I cannot see any reason why you would not own that tee. And then, of course, the newest innovation in drink safety, the Drink Spotter Chill and horse stall mat coasters have been restocked, made in America, 3/4 inch thick, genuine, legitimate Tractor Supply sourced horse stall mats made right here in the corners of the Dakotas. So get yourself a horse stall mat coaster set while you're at it. Tommy, where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but just please make sure to follow Massonomics at Massonomics.
See you.